This is Dean Martin from Leicester Square in London at Capital Radio HQ. And I'm pleased to say, direct on the phone right now, all the way from the USA. Not only has he known this particular artist for over 30 years, he's also engineered some of his great work, produced some of his albums as well. As I did mention only a couple of seconds ago, he's a great friend of the one and only Mr. John Bon Jovi. And I'm pleased to say we've got Obie O'Brien on the phone right now. It was a group called Marchese who are based in Canada. They've got a fantastic album out. They're not really known here in the UK or actually outside of Canada, but I think they deserve a chance. What do you think? I said, well, who produced it? And he said, well, it was Obie O'Brien, who's Bon Jovi's producer. So I really wanted to talk to you very quickly now about Marchese.
Great. You know what? I really love those guys. And I get a lot of offers to do records with people outside of Bon Jovi. And the great thing is I have chunks of time where I can, do my outside projects. The way very few things come across my, I get CDs all the time and I get sent links. There's not many things that I go, wow, I really like that. And the stuff I do like is always based on what I think of the singer. There's only one spotlight in a band, and that guy out in front of that band that's standing there, who's taking those words that were written on paper and finding the emotional component and delivering that to an audience, whether it's one person or 100,000, and still getting that same reaction. That's what drives my interest in in singers and bands. And there was something about Dom's voice. And, after I met him, I realized he's a brooding, kind of very serious kind of guy about his music. And he and I hit it off immediately. I said, this is a guy I want to work with. And we went to Nashville, and I had spoken to them on the phone. And there's only so much you can get from speaking to someone on the phone. But I knew I had a great conversation with him, and he spoke about what he wanted and the kind of sound he wanted. I mean, he knew. He wasn't just like some guy going, well, I hope you can give me an identity. He knew what he wanted, and I like that. He knew what he was about. He knew what his songs were about. So when I met him in Nashville, the first time I met him was, we met in Nashville a few days before the recording, and we did a few days of pre-production. And I knew after the first half hour, I said, this is going to be a labor of love. I'm going to love doing this record. And it really was.
What would you say, though, when producing the Marchese album, that there was a lot of Bon Jovi influences on that particular album?
Well, if there are, here's what I would say they are. I know they were huge fans of the band. And they had actually they had won a contest and opened for Bon Jovi at a show in Canada. But when I spoke to Dom, there were specific Bon Jovi records and songs that he loved. And you knew he had played those in a band, and he sat and he listened and he figured out what was in those songs that he liked. So some of those components made it over to his record. And I get part was from him, and I guess part was from me because, as well as being friends with these guys, I'm a fan of this band. I'm a fan of the records they make. I'm a fan of the songs they write. I'm a huge fan of the live show. So between the two of us, I guess it was inevitable that we're going to have some things that sort of give you that feel.
Yeah. Would you ever say that these guys would ever perform again at a Bon Jovi gig?
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will because especially this last tour, John had said, look, I want to give some of these younger acts and some of these somewhat unknown bands a chance to open for us. And they've had contests, and they've done contests with local radio stations and wherever we are around the world. And, John and the band, they keep an eye on the bands that they liked and the ones they thought were great opening acts. So I'm sure that, the band will be have another shot at doing an opening slot for us.
Of course, you may not know, but I've got some information about Marchese. They've got their first UK gig on September the 11th at a North London venue, which I'm going to be there, which I'm really, really looking forward to. I know the guys are looking forward to coming over here to London to play for the first time, and no doubt they're going to be hearing this interview in the next couple of days ago. Is there a message, Obie, that you'd like to give to the guys, wishing them all the best for their massive UK gig?
Absolutely, and I spoke to Dom about a week ago, and he was just so looking forward to this. And here's the thing, the audience there are going to love these guys, and Lou and Jody and Dom, which is the core of that band. These guys have been together forever, and when you have three guys that perform together and they write together and they live together, that you get that great bond, very much like what Bon Jovi has. These guys are friends. They've been together. This is like The Sopranos. You know what I mean? And the thing, I know Dom is going to go over there, and he's going to walk up to that mic, and people are going to go, I get it. I get what this guy is about. He's going to mesmerize those people because he has that ability to sit down and just sing, whether it's one guitar, just the piano, or the band. And that emotional component cuts through all of it. I don't care if it's one instrument or 10 instruments. I just love doing vocals with Dom. And when we did vocals down there, I was at a couple beautiful studios down there, and I was lucky to have a lot of vintage gear, a lot of old microphones and stuff. And I remember setting 8 microphones up and just having Dom go and speak to me one after another, and then it would just happen. You heard it, and you'd put that mic up, and he would start singing, and you just go, wow. And that's why I took that record on. So I know they're going to come over there, and people are going to be going, where have these guys been? How come they haven't been on the radar up until now? So I'm sure you guys are going to have a great time with them.
Well, thank you very much, Obie. Fingers crossed. I'm sure the gig's going to go extremely well. And the next big thing would be for Marchese, of course, is to get some kind of a record deal would be great, and their CDs start being available at HMV or Virgin stores across the country. Yep.
Well, I've already spoken to them about recording some more stuff, but well, I don't have to tell you what the business of the music business is like. It's abysmal. And the record companies, I don't even know what advice to give people anymore. I think what Marchese did, which was smart, was they self-financed this record. I mean, they had such a belief in it. They raised the money. So they were in control of everything. And that seems to be more and more the model that people are using. And then, of course, what do you do for distribution? Well, the great thing was somebody like you heard them and go, wow, I love this. It's hard. It's hard. I would love to see them get a nice distribution so that record's available everywhere. And I think what you guys are doing with them is the first step in making that happen.
Well, Obie, listen, thank you very much indeed for speaking to us. And
well, Dean, thank you.
I wish you all the very, very best. So my regards to Bon Jovi.
I certainly will. And Dean, it was terrific meeting you when I was over there, and I hope everything goes well, and it was great talking to you today. You should be here driving around in my hot rod with me.
Well, when you send me an official invite, I will be there.
Okay, man.
Thanks very much.
You're going to fly right into Philadelphia. I'm going to pick you up in one of the hot rods.
Thank you very much indeed. Obie, all the best. Thank you.